Super Hero Time starts now.
I watched it for a little while. I like to watch things on TV. Satellite of love. Satellite of love.
Oh hey, I'm Easy Rider and welcome to Toku Time, where the time is always next Sunday AD. Well, I promised this a long time ago, and given what's come out recently, I've decided to talk about something I love besides Spandex Heroes hawking toys. A show that's given me hours of laughter, a ton of running gags to steal, and helped me create my own brand of humor. I'm of course talking about Mystery Science Theater 3000. Often called MST3K for short, Mystery Science Theater is the series that gave birth to riffing. Riffing, if you didn't know, is mostly freeform jokes and observational humor while watching something, preferably a terrible movie or TV show. A lot of my own comedy was inspired by MST3K, but I'm not alone. Toss a rock into the reviewiverse and you're liable to hit at least one other internet critic who also loves this show and works elements from Mystery Science Theater into their work as well. Now I could go on about the plot lines and the characters of this show like I would any other episode, but I don't have to. The show's opening does that for me.
In the not too distant future, next Sunday AD, there was a guy named Joel, not too different from you or me. He worked at Gizmonic Institute, just another face in a red jumpsuit. He did a good job cleaning up the place, but his bosses didn't like him, so they shot him into space. We're sending cheesy movies, the worst we can find. He'll have to sit and watch them all, then we'll monitor his mind. Now keep in mind, Joel can't control where the movies begin or end, because he used those special parts to make his robot friends. Robot, roll call Cabot, Gypsy, hi girl, Tom Servo, Crow. You're wondering how he eats and breathes and other science facts. Then repeat to yourself, it's just a show. I should really just relax. For Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Now normally I would just go over the history of the show like I do in other tribute episodes, but I want to do something a little different this time. In addition to going over the history, I'm obviously going to do that, I'll also answer some questions I get asked a lot about the show, I'll go over some of my fondest memories of the show, and I'll also talk about the return of Mystery Science Theater that happened recently. That being said, let's begin with the experiment. How did a man and two robots watching bad movies get started, you ask? It all began with one man, one comedian, Joel Hodgson. You know where I learned that from? Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Mystery Science Theater was just a...
5 seconds, Joel.
Right, Mystery Science Theater was just obviously a simple idea that was...
Can you repeat that? I don't think Mo caught it.
Joel said that Mystery Science Theater was obviously a simple idea that was based on people making fun of movies at home.
Actually, I'm just kidding. In the mid-1980s, Joel Hodgson started his career as a prop comic, looking for his big break, even doing shows with Jerry Seinfeld at the time. But after several years of TV appearances that led to nothing, he eventually became burnt out on it. Joel would often comment that his props were called gizmonic props and they were made in the Mystery Science Lab. Later he met a TV producer, Jim Mallon, who became the producer at Minneapolis station KTMA TV 23. Mallon needed to fill a 2-hour time slot on Sunday nights and enlisted Joel's help. Joel brought along a fellow comic named Trace Beaulieu, who he'd often hang out with, and a promising student from his then stint as a stand-up comedy teacher, Josh Weinstein, later renamed J. Elvis Weinstein. Joel got the idea to design robots from a sketch he saw in Trace's notebook, and he decided to make a show based on the old local TV shows he grew up with host segments wrapped around old cartoons and horror movies. Together with Mallon's co-worker at the station, Kevin Murphy, they all began to work on a homegrown comedy show. The basic premise and characters were hashed out. Joel was partially inspired by a scene from Charlton Heston's The Omega Man, where he was the only one in the theater watching the movie alone. He came up with the idea for the silhouettes, or Shadowrama, from an Elton John album cover. Joel crafted the idea for the original KTMA series from another movie he liked, Silent Running, which was about a lone spaceman and his robot companions. Joel was joined by Crow T. Robot, or just Crow, voiced by Trace Beaulieu, Gypsy, who ran the ship, voiced by Weinstein and later Jim Mallon himself, and Beeper, a robot that spoke only in beeps that Crow understood. They all lived on the Satellite of Love, or just SOL, a reference to a song by Lou Reed. After shooting a crude demo tape and getting the okay from the higher-ups, Joel decided to change things up a little. The SOL interiors were changed, Beeper became Servotron, later renamed Tom Servo by Weinstein, who also became the voice for Tom. Joel changed his last name to Robinson for the series, and instead of being voluntarily shot up into space, he was captured and shot into space as a test subject. But the show still needed a name. Mallon asked Joel for ideas, and without hesitation he blurted out Mystery Science Theater 3000. The series made its debut on Thanksgiving Day, November 24th, 1988. At a live event last year, Joel said that the TV station back then had an answering machine for people to call in and tell them how the show was. And the next day they came in, the tape was full of people praising this show and wanting more.
Great stuff. More, give me more, I want more!
Oh, he must mean Dave Moore.
No, he's on TV4.
No, that's More on 4.
No, that's a black gospel singing group.
No, that's More by 4.
Needless to say, MST3K was a local overnight success. But the protagonist needed foes and an explanation why Joel was shot into space. In episode 6 of the original KTMA shows, now known as Season 0, we were introduced to the evil masterminds at Gizmonic Institute, Dr. Clayton Forrester and Dr. Lawrence Earnhardt, played by Trace and Josh respectively. They were the antagonists and the first of many mad scientists for the show, later just called the Mads. The series didn't refer to the movies they were watching as episodes, but rather experiments. Each movie was a new experiment. The plan was to find one movie so bad that it would drive their test subject literally insane, and then release the film onto the public and take over the world. Jim and Kevin had discovered they had a cachet of the cheapest movies the station could afford, therefore the cheesiest and the worst they could find. So this up-and-coming show had plenty of material to work with. Not the most structured evil genius plan for world domination I've seen, but I've seen Toku villains with far dumber plans for world domination. But remember,
Repeat to yourself, it's just the show. I should really just relax.
eventually the gang formed Best Brains Inc. and began shopping their product around the cable channels. Once again, Joel was on the hunt for his big break. But unfortunately, none of the cable channels seemed interested at the time, except for one. The Comedy Channel, or Comedy Central as it's known today. Thanks to Joel's stand-up comedy past and that the channel was property of HBO, MST3K was picked up for a 13-episode deal. Trace Beaulieu had been working at a display company in Eden Prairie and they were able to gain the lease for it, so they were able to set up shop there and make sets locally, as opposed to flying out to New York City to work in the cramped sets at HBO. MST3K was a local hit in Minnesota, and while it was making its big jump to cable, the show still needed exposure elsewhere. The answer? Fans took taped episodes off KTMA and later the Comedy Channel and began sharing them around. Again, this was the late 80s and the early 90s. You couldn't just put them on a flash drive or download them off the internet or shop a DVD around. You had to get a big, bulky VHS tape, and then you'd have to get 2 VCRs to make a copy of a copy. You see where I'm going with this. It was not simple. For a long time, the guys at Best Brains were okay with this, even supportive of it. In the closing credits of the first 4 seasons, it even says, "Keep circulating the tapes." Several of the original KTMA episodes became lost, scattered, and increasingly hard to find for a time. A few have cropped up on the internet, but some are still missing and maybe lost forever. Oh man, the days before internet and social media? We've got it very easy today, Toku Faithful. You can post a funny cat video or a kid doing something silly on the internet and millions of people could see it. It could go viral. You could be an overnight success. But back then, there was no Twitter, no Facebook, no YouTube, no nothing. The only way you could get your name out there was through either cable, video cassette, or word of mouth. Man, I'm trying to think of a 10-year-old me trying to make this show in the 80s. I wouldn't have the 4 or 5 fans I have today. Now that MST3K was on cable, the show now had to have a writing staff because previously the riffs and segments were mostly ad-libbed. Another aspiring comic writer named Michael J. Nelson was hired to write for the show, as well as his friends Frank Conniff and Nelson's future wife, Bridget Jones. The first season also saw the beginning of the Invention Exchange, where Joel and the Mads would show off kooky inventions to each other. Joel's prop comedy lent itself well to this skit. But that's not the only skit they had. Joel and the Bots would also do songs about the movie, parodies, pointing out major plot holes, or talking about big-time former has-been actors that were in a really bad movie, if any. And at the end of every movie, they would always answer some fan mail from the audience. After season 1, J. Elvis Weinstein was eager to strike out on his own, so he left the series. Kevin Murphy took over as the voice of Tom Servo for the remainder of the series. Frank Conniff became TV's Frank, Dr. Forrester's new cohort.
What do you want from us? We're evil! Evil! Yep, I guess you could say we're cut from a different cloth.
Exactly, Frank.
Guess you could say we're more evil than a $3 bill.
Push the button, Frank.
Guess you could say the factory's still open, but we're making different stuff now.
Would you just push the button?
The button. Guess you could say we're buying at wholesale and passing the savings on to you.
Mystery Science Theater pretty much remained the same until 1993. As season 5 was coming down the line, Joel decided to leave the show for various reasons. Many informed sources, including Joel himself, stated that much like prop comedy on television, he became burnt out on it, again. Which is understandable, you don't want to be in the same gimmick forever. So Michael J. Nelson stepped in as the new host, just called Mike Nelson.
What's going on, Frank?
Oh, not much. Inventory's under control. Floor needs mopping.
Oh, good.
Joel escaped from the satellite of love.
Oh, well, I see you've got the situation well in hand. What? Joel escaped from the satellite of love?
Well, I'd better get started on that floor.
Frank, my towel and your hinder have an appointment. But first, we've got to rescue Joel. Oh, no. No! Frank, he's landed safely in the Australian outback.
Well, let's just hope he landed on Yahoo Serious.
Well, that's a good point, Frank, because... Frank, can't you see we're ruined? What are we gonna do?
Well, we could send someone else into space.
Who are we gonna find at this late date to send into space?
Did you guys sign my time card?
Are you thinking what I'm thinking, Frank?
Yeah, you're not going to sign his time card, are you?
Come on, you gotta sign my time card.
Of course I'll sign your time card, young man. In fact, I think you're going to be working for me for a long, long time. Push the button, Frank. Say, Mike, what size jumpsuit do you wear?
As you probably guessed, this caused a schism among fans. And given that this was during the advent of the internet, many online forums were divided. Team Joel and Team Mike. Many CompuServe forums were flooded with hate. Yep, even in the 90s when the internet was brand new, you couldn't stop fanboys from going on the internet and bitching about shows they love. Thank God this was before 30-year-old man-children who claimed to be critics did that with videos, am I right? Hey, wait a minute. Despite this major cast change, Mystery Science Theater remained popular throughout, mostly to college kids. The invention exchange, as well as answering fan mail, were eventually phased out in later seasons, so Mike could use his own free range of comedy to basically set himself apart from Joel and get out of his shadow. But as the show progressed, Mike proved that he could stand out on his own, he was his own host, and that he wasn't filling another temp position. MST3K became so popular that it even had a movie. Wow, that's weird. A movie about a man and two robots watching a movie. Movieception. I have a tiny confession to make. I used to watch this movie. A lot, actually. It's when I first got cable. It was on like all the time on the movie channels, and I just tuned in a lot. It's a guilty pleasure, I admit, but I still wouldn't recommend it to newcomers. But that's just me. After the show's 7th season, Trace Beaulieu and Frank Conniff both left the show. And in 1997, Mystery Science Theater moved to its new home, the Sci-Fi Channel, after Comedy Central canceled them. Apparently, the then programming president at USA Network loved the show, was a big fan of it, and helped save it, saying that the sci-fi elements would work well on their new station. And it showed, because at the beginning of Season 8, the Satellite of Love became no longer tethered to Earth and was shot into time and space. But the show needed new villains, new Mads. Mary Jo Pehl, another show writer, stepped in as Pearl Forrester, Dr. Forrester's mother, who was previously seen in Season 6 and 7. Kevin Murphy would take on a live-action role as Professor Bobo, the Ape Man. An obvious homage to Planet of the Apes, as he often refers to Pearl as the Lawgiver. But don't let the Professor name fool you, Bobo is usually the brainless muscle of the team. Comedian Bill Corbett took over as the voice of Crow and also played Observer, aka Brain Guy, an omnipotent being with psychic abilities. Brain Guy often used his powers to basically conjure up anything they wanted, or to send Mike and the Bots a new movie. Even though the Satellite of Love would travel through vast dimensions, past, present, and future, and all throughout space, the Mads eventually set up home in Castle Forrester in Season 9, back on Earth. Pearl discovers in this castle that her family tree has been doing this same experiment for many generations. The show ran for 3 more seasons and eventually ended in 1999. Sci-Fi ran reruns of the show, but after a while, MST3K left the airwaves. Well, that's enough history lessons. Now let's get to my personal experience with Mystery Science Theater. As a fan and frequent quoter of the show, and I use a lot of the clips in these videos, I often get emails, live stream questions, or social media questions, or what have you about this show. And what I've decided to do here is do a quick little FAQ, Mystery Science Theater, from the writer's perspective. Unfortunately, I didn't get cable until around 96 or 1997. I'm trying to remember. We lived out in a farm in the middle of nowhere, so I had to go to my grandparents' house or watch it very late at night when it was on in syndication locally. I did rent the movie a couple times, as I said, and I watched it on cable a lot. It's okay, but I don't think it's as good as the episodes themselves. I remember when we did finally get cable, I started watching it on Saturday mornings. I actually remember flipping back and forth between Mystery Science Theater and Power Rangers, or when it was on Saturday nights, flipping back and forth between MST3K and Monster Vision. Mike and the Bots watching movies, and Joe Bob Briggs watching movies, both of them simultaneously ripping on them. They're definitely 2 of my biggest comedy inspirations. It's probably why I'm doing this show right now. If I had to pick one robot, I'd have to go with Crow. No offense to Servo or Gypsy or Cambot, but I always just liked his design a little bit more. I guess because he looks more animal-like than the others, the lacrosse net antlers and the bowling pin mouth. He just looks the coolest. Plus, he's like me. He looks way more laid back than Servo. Servo always seemed really angry and pissed off to me, but Crow had his moments of anger too.
Luxembourg, please get down on your bony European knees and thank your lucky stars every day that you're not Japan.
Bro, now...
Hey, are you Luxembourg?
No,
Then shut up!
A lot of people would say that Dr. Forrester and TV's Frank are the quintessential Mads, and I don't deny it, they probably are the best. But my personal favorite is Pearl's gang. Professor Bobo's the brainless oaf who's always hungry and has no idea what's going on. Brain Guy is, well, the brains, and Pearl's usually the loudmouth leader who bosses them around for her own evil deeds. The chemistry they have together is just great. They play off each other extremely well, and the Three Stooges gimmick just lends itself perfectly to them. They're just my personal preference. Ooh, that's a tough one. I get that one a lot. I don't think one is really better than the other. I think it all just comes down to a personal preference. They both have their faults and their pro. Mike is more clueless, Joel is more inventive, things like that. But if you had to hold a gun to my head and make me choose, then I gotta go with Mike. That doesn't mean Joel is bad or anything. Around that time, I'd only seen a couple of Joel's episodes here and there, and I was more akin to Mike. I just grew up with him in the sci-fi era. Now that I'm older and I've gone back and watched some of Joel's episodes, I really honestly don't think he's less funny than Mike. Again, I think it just depends on where you grew up at, who you're more used to. Joel acts a lot more fatherly to the bots. Well, he created them, so I guess in a way he is their father. And you can tell, the way he talks to Servo, Crow, Gypsy, and Cambot, he often acts like a father would to kids.
Now, come on, Crow Servo. I told you to keep playing. Now, come on, play.
Oh, Daddy!
Oh, look, haven't you done enough damage already? Unfortunately, we'll be right back. Oh, listen, you guys, that's it. This is not for your eyes. I don't care.
What is it? What's going on, Joel?
Shame on you, Dr. Forster. Have you no sense of decency?
What? Is Targo juggling?
Joel, we can handle this.
Mike, on the other hand, is like a roommate or a co-worker. He's stuck with the bots, and he doesn't really have that connection to them that Joel does. And I think that lends itself a lot more to comedy, because the bots often treat him like a sucker. They're always pulling pranks on him. They're always stealing from him. It's just more funnier to watch.
All right, what'd you loot?
Well, I broke into my own room and managed to get away with my TV. I'll never miss it.
Okay, Tom?
Well, I threw a mannequin through your window, Mike. And
Wait. Where'd you get a mannequin?
Well, I keep one for power outages. Anyway, threw it through your window, managed to get away with your recycling here. I'm not a very good looter, am I?
No, you're not.
Sorry, I hate myself. Goodbye.
No, Crow, get back here.
James Mayberry, RFD. Oh, I hate myself, too.
Come on, get back in here. Come on. Hey, Servo, no. Come on.
I can't, Mike. I'm out of here.
Sit back. Sit. Oh, Crow.
No, I can't take it.
Get back in. Sit down. Sit down. Come, get back in here. Sit down. Come on. No, don't. Come back here. Come on. No, we're going to sit down. We're going to calm down. We're going to watch this movie.
So, yeah, I'm Team Mike. I think my personal favorite, and ironically this is from a Joel episode, would be the Chocolate Bunny Guillotine and the Cartooner from Manos the Hands of Fate.
Joel, a hearty hello to you and yours. Let me just say this about today's invention exchange. Let them eat chocolate.
That's right, Joel. That's right, Joel. Our invention this week is based on one's natural inclination to bite the heads off of chocolate bunnies.
That's right, Frank. That's why we've invented the Chocolate Bunny Guillotine. Eliminate the guesswork in biting the heads off bunnies. Ready, Mr. Executioner?
Yes, my liege.
You have stolen painted eggs in a time of famine. Off with their head, Frank. And no chocolate mess. Well, poopsies?
What about the pardon from Fanny Farmer?
Yeah, his only crime was being born delicious.
Oh, it's okay, you guys. They're there. It's all right. Let's show them our invention exchange, all right? Our invention exchange is called the Cartooner. Have you ever noticed that funnies just aren't funny anymore? The Cartooner takes stodgy, ambiguous cartoons like Mark Trail and mixes them with stiflingly unfunny cartoons like Blondie, puts them together, and makes them funny. Check it out. Well, look at this. Let's see what happened. Well, okay. Here's Dagwood, and he's eating a giant sandwich made out of twigs, grubs, and a tufted titmouse.
That's pretty funny.
Hey,
Okay.
funny.
Oh, now do the Lockhorns
Oh,
and
yeah.
Kathy.
Yeah. That's a good
Lockhorns and Kathy, put
Ah,
them in the
Kathy.
cartooner and
Goes round and round.
Yes, and it comes out here.
Ah, let me see. Oh, hey, Mrs. Lockhorn accidentally crashed her car into the store where Kathy was trying on a swimsuit.
Okay.
Hey, Joe,
Okay.
let's try a panel of Bill Keene's heartwarming family circus with Gary Larson's off center of the far side.
Okay, put them together, mix them up. And let's see, here it is. Huh.
Oh, let me see there. A dotted trail showing where anthropomorphic jackals have chased little Billy.
It's out! What do you think, sirs?
Ah, my ribs.
Oh man, I cannot pick just one episode that I say is better than all the others. So what I've decided to do is there are 10 seasons of the show, so I've picked one from each season as my personal favorite, and well, here they are.
Hey, I didn't know the Russians had cartoons.
So what's a Catalina caper?
It's one of those little balls you find when you're eating peel-and-eat shrimp.
Master Ninja Eye? A wandering ninja eye. Master Ninja. Keeper.
Well, you know, Manos.
Right. Not in so many words.
You know, Manos.
Oh, yeah, I hear you. Hey, it's categories.
Ugh, look, the sign is leaking.
Ugh.
Cool. Oh, this is from the new Sinatra album.
Every zombie nightmare I have, I'm naked at a hockey game. Terrible name for laser eye surgery. Scares away the customers.
Hey, the Matthew Broderick story.
And believe me, death does not pony up for gas.
Oh, come on. One more sacrifice before we go.
Okay, but this is the final sacrifice.
Soup taper? What?
Let it get a little closer.
The Soul Taker.
Now I know what some of my hardcore Toku faithful are saying as they watch this. Oh my god, Easy, shut up about this show. It has nothing to do with Tokusatsu, right? Wrong! MST3K has a lot more to do with Tokusatsu than you think. The first and most obvious is that Mystery Science Theater riffed several Godzilla movies and Gamera movies. As I mentioned before, this is where I saw a lot of those Gamera films for the first time, as the Big Turtle wasn't well known in America as the Big G. Still kinda isn't. MST3K also riffed a variety of Tsuburaya production shows, created by the god of special effects, Eiji Tsuburaya. Episodes from Tsuburaya-produced series such as Mighty Jack, Star Wolf, and Saru no Gundan were taken and cut into movies and English dubbed by notorious TV producer Sandy Frank. He's so reviled, the gang even made a song about him.
Oh no, it's a Sandy Frank thing.
Sandy Frank.
Sandy Frank.
Here we go again. Hey.
One of these, Star Wolf, had the honor of being made into 2 movies. These movies deserve special attention as they were responsible for one of the most well-known jokes in MST3K history. Even if you don't watch Mystery Science Theater, you've probably heard this joke.
This must be one of those Russian forklifts I've heard so much about lately.
This is the song written for the train chase. This is the chase, Rocky and Ken. He tried to kill me with a forklift. Olay!
And now you know why me and fellow Misty Matty J had to sing that during the Zyuranger review. But it wasn't just the Joel era. The bots had unfortunate run-ins with Cut to Ribbon's badly dubbed Toku with Mike, too. 2 movies featuring one of Toei's most earliest tokusatsu heroes ever, Yusei Oji, or Prince Planet, were pasted together and became Prince of Space in the States. In that very same season, Mike and the bots were subjected to Uchu Kaisokusen, or Invasion of the Neptune Men. This movie featured a then unknown Sonny Chiba as Iron Sharp, renamed Space Chief in the English dub. And if you don't know who Sonny Chiba is, well, let me put it this way. He is one of the few men on this planet to ever boss around Kenji frickin' Oba and live to talk about it. I bet you didn't know that one of the most badass men to ever come out of Japan got his start in tokusatsu, did you? Neptune Men also has a distinction for being very, very bad. Chodeno bad. How bad? Well, you gotta see it for yourself. I will say this though, Mike and the bots were almost broken by this one.
So, do either of you guys know any songs about stock footage that could get us through this?
Oh, I know a song about stock footage. It goes like this. Eat it, movie!
Whoa.
Take this
Whoa.
stupid little
Whoa.
cockroach
Mike,
in the film,
Mike,
roll it up so tight, and then ram it right up in it.
Okay, you're okay. It's all right.
You know, I've kind of come full circle here. Back in 1998, with my DX cap on, eating microwave ravioli, watching this on the Sci-Fi Channel, never would I have imagined decades later I'd be sitting here talking about guys in silly outfits, doing cheesy special effects to people all over the world. It's strange how life works sometimes. Well, Mystery Science Theater may have ended in 1999, but its fans and creators still persevere. Michael J. Nelson, Bill Corbett, and Kevin Murphy are still riffing to this very day with riff tracks. Together they riff a variety of short films, blockbusters, and, of course, cheesy movies the worst they can find. They also do live shows to sold-out crowds and broadcasted to theaters nationwide. I've seen some of them, in theaters anyway, but they are still awesome. Joel Hodgson and a few other former Mystery Science Theater members also did a live show called Cinematic Titanic for a time, but sadly it's now defunct. Currently, Trace Beaulieu and Frank Conniff tour together with their own live show, The Mads Are Back. A few years ago, Joel Hodgson began to tinker with the idea of reviving Mystery Science Theater 3000. A Kickstarter was started, and we all know how that turned out. The appropriately called Mystery Science Theater 3000 The Return, this was a continuation, not a reboot, made its Netflix debut on April 14th, 2017, and I gotta say, I liked it. I gotta admit, like many others, I wasn't sure about Jonah Ray being the new host, but I saw him at the Riff Tracks Live Mystery Science Theater reunion show, and he won me over. I was sold. It's no surprise since Joel spearheaded this return and basically took Jonah under his wing. Baron Vaughn and Hampton Yount are doing a good job as Servo and Crow, but I gotta admit they haven't really grown on me yet. I gotta hear a little bit more of them before I'm sold. Felicia Day and Patton Oswalt are great as the new Mads, and I love the chemistry between the two. I also like how they picked up a kaiju film for their first outing. I've seen Reptilicus before, unriffed, and believe you me, it was in dire need of the MST3K treatment. I also like how Jonah, Crow, and Servo move around the theater a little bit more, and even Gypsy can come into the theater now to throw out a random riff. That was a nice touch. The riffing itself is hit and miss. This is the only real gripe I have with this season. A lot of times the riffs seem either out of sync or too many at the same time, like rapid fire. In an interview, Joel stated that he wanted the riffs to be spread apart throughout the movie so we can enjoy the bad movie and the riffs at the same time. While I don't completely agree with that idea, it's a minor gripe, and that doesn't diminish the show in any real way. And let me answer this question before you flood the comments section with it. If I had to pick one favorite episode from the new season of Mystery Science Theater, it would definitely be Star Crash. It's a wonderfully bad Star Wars knockoff, and it has some of the funniest jokes from Jonah and the Bots. So in closing, Mystery Science Theater was, and still is, an institution in geekdom, and it's made a huge difference in my life. Not only does it help me write better shows for Toku Time, and okay, I admit I steal some of them, who doesn't, but Toku Riffs Live would not be a thing without Joel, Mike, Crow, Servo, Gypsy, and all the rest. I never would have thought once back in high school while watching educational shorts and yelling out random riffs I made up that I would actually get to do that for an audience on a weekly basis and basically play Mystery Science Theater like I wanted back then. And I want to thank everyone who comes to Toku Riffs Live every Sunday to hear my insane ramblings and let me live out my dream. And of course, I want to thank anyone and everyone who's worked on Mystery Science Theater 3000. You've helped me through some tough times, and no matter how hard it gets, I can always go home to my apartment, pull up some Mystery Science Theater, and laugh. You continue to be a well of inspiration that I and several others love to return to. I'm just grateful that I don't have a mad scientist sending me cheesy Toku movies the worst he can find.
Attention, Easy Rider. This is a message from the new Alliance head scientist, Lord Gizmanic Doomslayer. Your future experiments will drive you to the breaking point and crush your spirit.
Hi, We may not look like it, but we're secret superheroes starring in USA's awesome new show, Tattooed Teenage Alien Fighters from Beverly Hills.
We know it's got a long name, so to help you remember, we thought a few visual aids might be in order. So just think of it this way.
Tattooed
Teenage
Fighters from Beverly Hills.
So that's it. Tattooed Teenage Alien Fighters from Beverly Hills.
Easy.
Premiering next Monday at 6 on USA.
お前のようなひよっこをライダーと認めるわけにはいかん。本郷武史現る変身。ライダー史上最大の事件。平成ライダーだと甘ったれな。
昭和ライダーは俺たち平成ライダーが倒す。
前代未聞超ジェネレーションバトル勃発。平成ライダー対昭和ライダー仮面ライダー対戦。3月29日公開。
But wait, that's not fair! I don't have any robot friends! Or any friends for that matter! Oh, we got Toku-san!
Hello and konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa.
Tonight we present a traditional Japanese kabuki play. Translated to English, this ancient work is entitled Neil Simon's The Sunshine Boys.
Now, how many of you are familiar with Japanese theater? Anyone want to
Anybody at all?
feel this one? Or, yes, sir. And do you enjoy kabuki theater?
Actually, I prefer no theater.
Well, then why did you raise your hand?
Because I like no theater. No plays are my favorite.
So you don't like any theater at all?
No, let me explain. No theater is classic Japanese drama. No plays have been produced since the 13th century, and no actors are revered even today.
Why are you dissing Japanese theater? What's your deal, man?
No, wait a minute. No theater started in Japan.
Oh, so now you tell us Japan doesn't have any theater whatsoever.
They have lots of theater, including no theater.
So they have lots of theater, and they have no theater.
Exactly.
What?
No theater.
Yes.
What?
No theater. N-O-H.
N-O-H, huh?
Jeez.
Well, there, you just gone and shown what an idiot you are.
I'll handle this, Tom. Calm down. Mike, I'm going to ask you a series of simple questions which even a cretin like you could answer yes or no. Now, is there theater in Japan?
Yes.
Good. And do you have a particular favorite type of Japanese theater?
Yes.
Well, good. Now we're getting somewhere. Mike, will you tell me the name of your favorite form of Japanese theater?
No.
Why not?
Why not what?
And why won't you tell me your favorite Japanese theater?
I just did.
Did what?
Told you my favorite form of Japanese theater.
You did?
Yes.
Well, will you tell me again?
Yes. No.
Oh, come on!
Mike, I'm gonna grab a stepladder so you can jump up my butt.
May we do our little kabuki play now?
Yeah. Go ahead, but remember I like no theater more than I like kabuki theater.
I thought you didn't like kabuki.
I don't! You gotta mess with him every now and then. We'll be right back.
I get it, Mike.
We? I didn't like what happened last night. I didn't like that at all.
It had no texture.
Maybe the sheriff would like a visit from a real live ninja. That could be arranged.